Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on organometallic chemistry. We were discussing organolithium reagents. We will continue our discussion. We have just seen the use of organolithium reagents in metal halogen exchange, transmetallation, then conversion of carboxylic acids into ketones. Now we will see the nucleophilic addition of organolithium reagents on esters. When we add an alkyl lithium to an ester, based on the number of equivalents we use, the product will depend. For example, when we use one equivalent of RMGX, one equivalent of methyl lithium, methyl anion is a strong nucleophile, so it will add to the carbonyl carbon because carbonyl carbon is electropositive. Then first C double bond will break, the pi bond electrons will be polarized towards oxygen, then again they will polarize back to generate the C double bond O. Now the alkoxide ion, which is a good leaving group, will leave. So when we use one equivalent of alkyl lithium on an ester, ester will be converted to ketone. Of course, we know ketones will also involve in nucleophilic additions with methyl lithium. So the second equivalent of methyl lithium now adds to carbonyl carbon again. So it generates a tertiary alcohol. That means when we use one equivalent of alkyl lithium to react with an ester, the product is a ketone, and when we use two equivalents of alkyl lithium to react with an ester, we will end up with a tertiary alcohol. In a similar fashion, alkyl lithium reagents will undergo nucleophilic addition to nitriles. Generally here, the reaction mechanism follows similar to Grignard reagents. So only one equivalent of methyl lithium adds to nitrile group, which generates an iminium salt that is hydrolyzed to ketones. So nitriles can be converted to ketones upon addition of methyl lithium. Now the same transformation can also be obtained in two steps. In the first step, do acid hydrolysis. So nitrile will be converted to carboxylic acid. Then add excess of methyl lithium. Generally 2 equivalents is enough. Add excess of methyl lithium to carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid will be converted to ketone. So when we react methyl lithium with nitriles, nitrile will be converted to ketone. Now we will see the reactivity of alkyl lithium reagents with compounds having an acidic proton available in the molecule. Here we have carbonyl, two carbonyls, ketone and ester. Organolithium reagents can add to any of these carbonyl carbons. At the same time, we also have acidic protons. So when there is a competition between acidic nature of when there is a competition between basic nature and nucleophilic nature of alkyl lithium reagents or any other reagents, first they will act as a base to abstract the proton. So when we use methyl lithium to react with this compound, methyl lithium immediately acts as a base and undergoes proton abstraction. So we are generating a negative charge here. That means we are generating in situ organolithium reagents. So when an acidic proton is available in the compound and when it is treated with alkyl lithium reagents, what we are doing? We are generating another alkyl lithium reagent. So it is in situ generation of alkyl lithium reagents. Now, when we add two equivalents of methyl lithium, of course, this anion will undergo methylation. When we use one equivalent, it will undergo methylation for one time. Under the same methyl lithium conditions, after alkylation, then again another proton can be abstracted. So there is a possibility for alkylation for the second time, and not only that, we can remove this ester by hydrolysis. When we do acidic hydrolysis, ester will be converted to carboxylic acid, and because we have a carbonyl group and ester group on the same carbon, we can decarboxylate easily by heating it. So when we hydrolyze it, ester will be converted to carboxylic acid, and that will undergo decarboxylation to generate this product. So from this reaction, the takeaway point is when we have acidic protons in the molecule, alkyl lithium or Grignard reagents, first they will act as bases. So they will generate in situ alkyl lithium reagents. Now we will discuss the generation of propargyl alkyl lithium reagents. Sorry, acetylenic alkyl lithium reagents. Acetylenic proton is acidic in nature because the negative charge on sp hybridized carbon is more stable. So N-butyl lithium immediately picks up this proton, so it generates acetylenic alkyl lithium. Because it is an intermediate, it is not stable, so that is why I am representing it in square brackets. So it means negative charge on sp3 hybridized carbon, positive charge on alpha carbon. So whenever we want acetylenic lithium reagents, what we need to do is just take the acetylene and add some alkyl lithium reagent. So in situ we will generate acetylenic alkyl lithium reagents. Of course, these can be further explored. You write the product. acetylenic anion is less basic than vinyl anion or alkyl anion. So negative charge on sp hybridized carbon is less basic than negative charge on sp2 hybridized carbon or sp3 hybridized carbon. When we look at the nucleophilic character, it is more nucleophilic negative charge on sp3 hybridized carbon is more nucleophilic than vinyl anion or simple alkyl anion. In the next example, carbonyls can be protected as 1,3-diethiones. When we protect an aldehyde with 1,3-diethione, it will reverse the reactivity of hydrogen attached to carbonyl carbon. So this is what is called Umpolang reactivity. Generally, this proton is not acidic in nature, but when we protect the carbonyl as 1,3-diethione, then this proton becomes acidic in nature. So reversal of reactivity, which is called Umpolang reactivity. When we treat this compound with alkyl lithium, here butyl lithium will pick up this proton, so it generates a negative charge here. That negative charge is used for alkylation, and then we can remove this 1,3-diethione protection by hydrolysis. Of course, there were many methods which were discussed during oxidations. I'll give the new method. This hydrolysis of dithione to carbonyl using silver nitrate and NCS is called as fast hydrolysis. So here the product is dithione is hydrolyzed back to the carbonyl, and this proton, its reactivity was reversed by protection of carbonyl with 1,3-dithione. Then it was alkylated, then again it was hydrolyzed back. So this is the product here. Another such example for Umpolang reactivity of aldehydes is this. When we treat an aldehyde with silyl nitriles, here nitrile is negatively charged, silane group is positively charged. So nitrile will undergo nucleophilic addition to the carbonyl. Nitrile will undergo nucleophilic addition to the carbonyl, so it generates MgO. Now because of this withdrawing nature, CN is a strong withdrawing group. So because of its withdrawing nature, the reactivity of this carbon is reversed. Now this proton becomes acidic. Previously here it is not acidic. The aldehyde proton is not acidic, but in this case it is an acidic proton. So this can be further explored by treating with LDA, lithium diisoamyl amide, lithium diisopropylamide, followed by treatment with a carbonyl, So this anion will undergo nucleophilic addition to this carbonyl carbon. It generates this tertiary alcohol. Then this deprotection of this group can be easily achieved under acidic hydrolysis conditions. When we add acid, oxygen silicon bond will undergo breakage. So negative charge and oxygen will be polarized towards carbon to generate the C double bond O. Because cyanide is a good leaving group, cyanide will be leaving. So under acid hydrolysis, this protection group can be deprotected to generate the carbonyl back. I'll give you some practice problems. Here butyl lithium will undergo nucleophilic addition to the benzaldehyde carbonyl carbon. So you write the product. The same example was discussed during Grignard reagents. So when we want to add a tertiary butyl group to this carbonyl, it wasn't possible with Grignard reagents. But it is possible to add a tertiary butyl group to this carbonyl group when we add tertiary butyl lithium. Because alkyl lithium reagents are strong nucleophiles, they will undergo nucleophilic additions to the carbonyl carbon, which is even having sterically crowded substituents. So though there are two tertiary butyl groups which creates a large sterical crowding around this carbonyl carbon, but still tertiary butyl anion will undergo nucleophilic addition to this carbonyl, so it generates an alcohol. You predict the product. When we want to predict the stereochemistry of nucleophilic addition to cyclohexanone derivatives, of course, we must follow the chair conformation to predict the major and minor products. I'll give the products. You practice how this major product was developed by taking the chair conformation. Take the chair conformation of cyclohexanone and explain why this product is major and this product is minor. Always remember that the tertiary butyl group will be above the plane. It will be at equatorial position. It will never be at axial position. So take the chair conformation and then practice how these major and minor products are coming. Another important point regarding the nucleophilicity or nucleophilic strength of the alkyl lithium reagents is when we have an enone. What is enone? Alpha comma beta unsaturated carbonyl. Enone is a substrate for both 1,2 addition as well as 1,4 addition. Since alkyl lithium reagents are strong nucleophiles, they will always undergo 1,2 addition. So that means they will directly add to the carbonyl carbon. Alkyl lithium reagents are strong nucleophiles, so they will undergo 1,2 addition. You predict the product here. Please take one more practice problem. This is called chalcone. When chalcone is treated with methyl lithium, it will undergo, methyl lithium undergo 1,2 addition. So you write the product here. Methyl lithium will undergo 1,2 addition to the chalcone. Now we will look at an example which gives stereogenic centers when we add alkyl lithium. When we add methyl lithium to this, we can have two products. One is cis, another one is trans. Now, which one is major, which one is minor? It is very simple to predict the major and minor products here. Just take the Sahas conformation. Now, for this carbonyl, there are two possibilities. Methyl can add from this phase or methyl can add from this phase. When methyl wants to add from this phase, it is approaching from the side where hydrogen is there. Whereas from this phase, pH is there. So pH creates more spherical crowding compared to hydrogen. So methyl addition from the side where hydrogen is there, it will give the major product, whereas methyl addition from the side where pH group is there, it will give minor product. Now it is important to take the product in Sahas projection and convert that Sahas projection to Fischer projection. So we can easily predict the stereochemistry here. When we want to write the Sahas projection, pH, so when methyl group is approaching from hydrogen side, you write like this. So methyl and OH, of course, hydrogen. When we want to convert a Sahas projection to Fischer projection, it should be syn. So that means we need to rotate this. We need to make it an eclipsed conformation. It is not eclipsed conformation. When we rotate it 60 degrees in this direction, methyl will come to a place where hydrogen was there. Hydrogen will go to a place where OH was there. So I'll rewrite it. When we do 60 degrees rotation in a counterclockwise direction, then Sahar's projection becomes eclipsed. Eclipsed means this bond and this bond both must be in the same plane. Then it is called eclipsed. Now, this we can write in the Fischer projection directly. So methyl group, one methyl group, another methyl group, then pH and H both are on same side, pH and H, OH and H are on same side. So it means it gives the major product. Trans as the major product. of course, cis will be the minor product. So when we want to predict the stereochemistry in this example, the methyl group will approach this carbonyl from less hindered phase, because the addition of methyl lithium to carbonyl will generate two stereogenic centers. This stereogenic center was written in Saha's conformation, so that was converted to Fischer projection. We can also expect the stereochemistry of these products by Felkin-Anne model. We can also do that. Okay, Felkin-Anne model was well explained in the previous classes, so I am not taking that. So you take the Felkin-Anne model up, because it is a simple example. We can directly take the Kram's model and we can explain the stereochemistry here. For example, you can explain the stereochemistry when methyl lithium is added to this carbonyl. Take the Felkin-Anne model where we have more electronegative atom. So take that model and we can easily predict that anti is the major product, whereas syn product is the minor product. Use Felkin-Anne model with one electronegative atom. Now we will see the nucleophilic addition of alkyl lithium reagents to epoxides. Particularly cyclohexane epoxides are very important because they generate stereogenic centers, and it is tricky to predict the stereochemistry when this epoxide or cyclohexane epoxides are opened up. Now, when this epoxide is treated with methyl lithium, what is the product here? Of course, we know a simple epoxide, since it is above the plane, methyl lithium will approach this molecule from below the plane. But in case of cyclohexane epoxides, we must take the chair conformation because it is beta epoxide. It should be like this, and we have a methyl group here. So never look for the spherical crowding around the cyclohexane epoxides. Instead, we must always open this epoxide in such a way when it undergoes epoxide opening, it must generate diaxial products. So when methyl is approaching from this carbon, there are two possibilities. Methyl can approach from this carbon or from this carbon, but when methyl is approaching from this carbon, it generates a diaxial ring opening. Epoxides are always, cyclohexane epoxides are always opened in this form. When we open it, the product must be diaxial and trans. It is diaxial, and of course it should be trans. When we want to open it from this phase, if possible, when we want to open it from this phase, it is not possible because below the plane is already occupied. Okay, so this carbon is sterically crowded carbon, whereas this carbon is less sterically crowded carbon. So approach from this side, it is easy. When methyl anion is approaching this epoxide, the product should be diaxial and trans. So when we convert it into planar form, it will be beta alcohol alpha methyl group, and here also it is alpha methyl group. I'll give you some more examples. I'll also give the product. You practice how these products are generated. Beta epoxide methyl. It is similar to the above problem. Here also we must use chair conformation to predict the product. Take one more practice problem. So in cyclohexane epoxide derivatives, the epoxide opening will not depend on the stereochemistry of the substituents. So substituents are not going to create any sterical crowding problems. When we want to open this epoxide, it should give diaxial trans ring opening.